What if the most powerful root booster in your entire garden costs less than a loaf of bread today? Not expensive fertilizer bottles with colorful labels promising impossible growth and giant harvests. Not laboratory chemicals shipped across the country inside shiny containers with fancy marketing slogans. Just a small packet of baker's yeast sitting quietly beside flour and sugar inside your kitchen cabinet. Most gardeners spend years focusing on leaves, flowers, fruits, and visible growth above the ground daily. But plant scientists discovered something surprising hidden beneath the soil where nobody ever looks closely. The real battle for plant health happens underground inside a world filled with roots and microbes. And when roots become stronger, everything above the soil suddenly changes faster than expected naturally. Tomatoes grow larger, peppers produce more flowers, and cucumbers become healthier throughout the season. But here's the strange part almost nobody talks about because it sounds completely unbelievable at first. Yeast was never created as a fertilizer, yet gardeners worldwide keep reporting remarkable root growth results. And modern plant science may finally explain why this forgotten kitchen ingredient works surprisingly well. But before revealing the recipe, there is something important every gardener should understand first today. Most struggling plants are not actually suffering from fertilizer shortages like people commonly believe today. They are suffering because their root systems remain weak, damaged, stressed, or underdeveloped underground. A plant with weak roots struggles to absorb water nutrients and minerals from surrounding soil. Adding more fertilizer often creates larger problems because unhealthy roots cannot use it efficiently. Imagine trying to fill a leaking bucket with more water instead of repairing the leak first. That is exactly what happens when gardeners feed plants without strengthening root systems properly. The symptoms appear everywhere: yellow leaves, slow growth, weak stems, and disappointing harvests annually. Many gardeners blame weather insects, diseases, or poor seeds, while the real issue stays hidden. Roots determine everything, yet they remain the most ignored part of gardening across the world. Now, the story becomes even more interesting because scientists discovered something truly fascinating recently. Researchers studying soil biology found that roots constantly communicate with microbial life underground. The area surrounding roots contains billions of microorganisms working inside a living ecosystem daily. Some microbes help plants absorb nutrients, while others protect roots from harmful organisms nearby. Healthy roots create stronger microbial communities, and stronger microbes create healthier root systems. This relationship forms a powerful cycle that determines how well plants ultimately perform naturally. And this is where baker's yeast enters the story in a surprisingly powerful way today. Baker's yeast belongs to a species called Saccharomyces cerevisiae, used for centuries worldwide. People know it for making bread rise, but plants interact with it differently underground. Once activated in water, yeast begins releasing beneficial compounds into the surrounding environment quickly. These compounds include amino acids, vitamins, enzymes, and growth-promoting biological substances naturally. Some researchers compare certain yeast compounds to natural plant hormones found in nature. These substances help encourage root branching and stimulate healthier root development over time. Instead of growing one thick root, plants often create larger networks of smaller roots. More roots mean more nutrient absorption, more water uptake, and greater stress resistance overall. But that is not even the most surprising discovery scientists have made about roots recently. Researchers studying plant biology uncovered something called the rhizophagy cycle years ago. The discovery challenged traditional beliefs about how plants obtain nutrients from soil naturally. Scientists found roots actively interact with microbes rather than passively absorbing nutrients only. In simple terms, roots and microbes work together in ways researchers never expected before. The soil beneath every garden acts more like a living city than simple dirt today, and yeast helps support the biological activity that keeps this underground city functioning. This brings us to the recipe gardeners are using to stimulate healthier root growth. The ingredients are surprisingly simple and probably already sitting somewhere inside your kitchen. Take 1 liter of non-chlorinated water for the foundation of the mixture today. Add 2 tablespoons of ordinary dry baker's yeast, commonly sold in grocery stores everywhere. Then add 1 teaspoon of sugar, which serves a very important purpose here. The sugar acts as food, helping activate the yeast much faster than water alone. Use lukewarm water only because temperature matters more than many gardeners realize completely. Water that feels too hot can kill yeast cells before activation even begins. Mix everything carefully and allow the solution to rest for 30 minutes quietly. Place the container somewhere shaded while the yeast becomes active and fully awakened. Soon, bubbles and foam begin appearing across the surface of the liquid naturally. That foam signals active yeast metabolism and indicates the mixture is becoming ready. But never seal the container tightly because pressure builds during activation surprisingly fast. Once activation finishes, the concentrate must be diluted before reaching plant root zones. Mix 1 part activated yeast solution with 10 parts clean water before applying. This dilution creates a gentle treatment that supports roots without overwhelming the soil. Apply the mixture directly around plant roots rather than spraying leaves unnecessarily today. The root zone is where yeast delivers its greatest benefits and strongest effects. Timing also matters because plants experience certain periods of increased energy demand annually. Apply after transplanting, when roots experience stress and require recovery support immediately. Apply again during early flowering when plants begin shifting toward reproductive growth stages. A final application during fruit formation helps support continued root activity naturally. Tomatoes, peppers, cucumbers, eggplants, and many vegetables respond especially well to treatments. Gardeners often notice healthier growth patterns within several weeks after proper application. However, mistakes can completely eliminate benefits and create disappointing results very quickly. The biggest mistake involves using chlorinated water directly from untreated municipal supplies often. Chlorine can reduce microbial activity, making the solution less effective than intended. Another common mistake involves using water that feels hot to the touch. Heat damages yeast cells, instantly preventing activation before the process truly begins. Some gardeners leave activated mixtures sitting around for several days unnecessarily long. That reduces effectiveness because microbial activity gradually changes over extended periods significantly. The best practice involves using the solution within 24 hours after activation. Fresh mixtures consistently produce better results than older solutions left unattended too long. Another mistake involves applying more frequently than recommended, hoping for faster growth. Plants need balance, and excessive applications rarely improve outcomes beyond normal schedules. When used correctly, gardeners often report stronger stems, greener leaves, and faster growth. Many also observe improved flowering and healthier fruit production throughout growing seasons. The improvements begin underground, where stronger roots create stronger plants naturally everywhere. This leads to a question worth asking: if yeast works so well, why? Why do garden centers rarely discuss baker's yeast when selling expensive root products? The answer is not necessarily conspiracy, but simple economics working behind the scenes. A packet of yeast costs very little and remains available almost everywhere today. There is limited profit in promoting ingredients people already have inside their kitchens. Commercial products generate larger profits because they can be branded and marketed aggressively. Meanwhile, inexpensive solutions remain quietly overlooked despite growing interest among gardeners worldwide. That does not mean yeast replaces every fertilizer amendment or soil improvement method. Healthy gardens still require balanced nutrition, organic matter, and proper watering practices. But yeast offers something valuable, a simple, affordable tool supporting root development naturally. Sometimes the most effective gardening solutions come from ordinary places people overlook daily. A forgotten packet sitting beside baking supplies may help transform struggling plants completely, not because it performs magic, but because it supports biological systems already present. Nature often works through small, hidden relationships invisible to the human eye. Roots, microbes, moisture, nutrients, and time combined beneath the soil every single day. The gardeners who understand those relationships often achieve the most impressive harvests. So, before buying another expensive bottle promising impossible results, consider something simpler first. Look inside your kitchen cabinet and remember where this story began today. A tiny fungus used for bread may help unlock stronger roots beneath your garden. And stronger roots can change everything growing above the soil during the season. If you enjoyed this gardening secret, share it with another gardener today. Subscribe for more science-based gardening stories hidden beneath everyday natural solutions.